Hey everybody, Papa Wigs here with Wigs. We're going to talk about the first game of Week 3 tomorrow. The Patriots at the Jets. Another division game, Wigs. This should be a good one. Patriots have been playing a lot better football than I expected them to this year. Their defense is obviously carrying them. I'm really surprised at how well they've been playing. But I will say this: the Jets are starting to figure things out. I think Aaron Rodgers got them back on track last week with their
You mean
offense.
Jacoby? Oh wait, no, you are talking about the. My bad, I'm tripping.
Yeah, so I think he's got them back on track. So I think this is going to be a tough game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. Uh, um, me personally, I got the Jets in this one. Um, I got to give the edge to Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense over the Patriots. I think Rodgers' experience is going to lead the way in this game. Although I do think it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I mean, I think it's going to be like 17-14, if that. So just a couple things to keep an eye on both sides. So for me, with the Patriots, you know, obviously Hunter Henry had a big game, monster game last week. I think you got to keep an eye on their tight end. Their receivers really haven't been stepping up. KJ Osborne's been kind of a disappointment so far this year. Demario Douglas really hasn't done anything. Polk hasn't, done anything. Bourne hasn't done anything. They got Javon Baker, which I don't even think they've been using. Their receivers are kind of been disappointing. The one bright spot on the Patriots offense is their running back combination, Wiggs, don't you think? Stevenson and Gibson. Actually, Gibson had a really good game. I mean, he wasn't out on the field that much last week, but he had a pretty good game. I think he was out there like 27% of the time or something. And he still had an effective game, 11 carries on 96 yards. I kind of like that combo. I mean, Gibson's a really good offset to Stevenson. Stevenson's been having a decent year. Brissett hasn't, been terrible. I'd like to see them, at some point here, give May a shot, but I don't think that's going to happen until they start losing a few games. On the flip side of it, I think the person that you need to watch on the Jets side is, well, first of all, you got Brees Hall, right? And I think he's going to be big in this game. And then obviously you got Garrett Wilson, who's going to garner attention. I think the person to watch in this game is Braylon Allen, their backup running back. I know Wiggs doesn't want to hear this and stuff. I think Brees Hall's still going to get. I mean, he's going to be out there the majority of the time. But I do think that there's going to be situations where Allen's out there and he might be the difference maker in this game. So it'll be interesting to see. So like I said, I'm giving this one to the Jets. They're at home. Aaron Rodgers, I just feel like his experience is going to lead the way. I think it's going to be like a 17-14 type game, maybe even lower. It could be 14-10. I think it's going to kind of be a defensive struggle. That's just my opinion. What do you think, Wiggs?
I think this game will be interesting because, like you said, both defenses are really good. For some weird reason, I do see the Jets scoring up to 28 points here in the game. Somehow, I just think last week we kind of saw a nice little spark there from their offense. Rodgers still isn't back to what he fully is, capable of, but he looked a lot better last week compared to week one, which was grim. So I kind of expect a little bit better of a performance here from Rodgers this week, even against a tougher defense. But looking at the Jets, like you obviously have Brees Hall, you have Garrett Wilson, unfortunately Braylon Allen right now for fantasy, but um, you still got Lazard and Mike Williams. Conklin isn't as involved as I thought he would be in this offense just yet, but um,
Yeah, I agree with you. He's been kind of a disappointment.
I
We
think
have
this
really
might be
been
a week
targeting
he's
him.
good. I think the Patriots will defend Wilson pretty well, and I think Conklin might get the ball a little bit more because I think their run game might struggle a little bit in this game. And I think the main targets out of the backfield are going to be the running backs and probably Conklin or Lazard because I think Wilson's going to garner most of the attention there. So we'll kind of see. And then on the side of the Patriots, I mean, I wish they would just start Drake May, but obviously they're winning, so you're not going to do that. But I feel like Drake May would put up the same amount of numbers as Brissett. I think I said this in our recap earlier this week, but Brissett's not doing anything impressive. His running backs are doing all the work, and his receivers aren't doing anything because, I mean, I don't even think it's really on them. Brissett hasn't shined. He's only averaged like 150 yards a game, so it's really hard for any of those receivers to like pop off in a crowded like receiving like group. And I think of all of them on that offense, I think it's going to be a Demario Douglas and Jalen Polk show here at some point. I just don't think that'll happen until Drake May's in because I feel like Drake May is probably going to let the ball a little loose here in his first few weeks of whenever he starts here. But I wouldn't expect anything here from the offense of the Patriots outside of Stevenson and Gibson. Um,
And
Hunter Henry, like you said.
do you think that I think that they just don't have a receiver right now that's showing that he can be a true number one guy. So I think that these other teams are coming in and they don't give their receivers a lot of respect right now because they just haven't been showing that they can get separation and they can do that. I mean, last year, Douglas had, spurts, and stuff, but I just kind of wonder if that's part of the issue with their receivers because uh, you can say Brissett's not looking at him, but the other thing though is that they need to be able to get separation and stuff like that. And I know as much as I love KJ Osborne, last year he kind of struggled getting separation, unlike the year before and stuff. So I kind of wonder if that's not part of the problem. If part of the problem is them getting separation. Plus, they're really, really young.
Well, yeah, but I don't even think it's a matter of separation right now. I just think it's more so kind of like the Chargers offense where it's a little more run heavy right now, which to me just doesn't make sense why you're not starting Drake May at that point because he's really, I mean, Brissett's only like throwing the ball, I think, 20 times a game or something like that.
Well, I think the reason they're not starting Drake May is because they don't want him to turn out to be like Bryce Young and have his confidence totally ruined. I think they're trying to take it slow with him, which I can understand and stuff. That's why I think they're gonna wait. I think though if they start losing games, they're gonna put him in there just to get him that experience because at that point it's a matter of getting him in the game speed and stuff like that. So at first I agree with you, Wiggs. I was kind of like, well, why aren't they? Now, I mean, because you had said that you thought Brissett was going to be the starter going in the season. You
Yeah.
kind of debated me on that, and you were absolutely right on that. I kind of I kind of feel like at this point maybe it was smart for him not to start Drake May after seeing what's going on with Bryce Young, because obviously Bryce Young's confidence has been destroyed, and to me, to put it all on Bryce Young is not fair on him. I think the organization over there in Carolina and the coaching staffs are to blame for that. So I think this coaching staff wants to take it slow with Drake May and make sure that they put him in a position to succeed, and that's why they haven't started him. But I do agree with you. If they start losing here, they need to put him in.
Well, yeah, and I don't think it'll come here in the next 2 weeks. So they do have two really tough matchups in the Jets and 49ers coming up, but I don't know. You have a talented receiving core in my eyes with Douglas and Polk, and then even Baker and Osborne to an extent, and I just don't think they're designing the plays well enough around their receivers. I know Douglas showed it last year in his rookie season until he got hurt, but I mean, last year he was plagued by bad quarterback play, so the fact that he showed spurts last year with bad quarterbacks was actually impressive to me. And I don't know, we saw what Brissett did with Cleveland before Watson got his job back, and he looked good, but right now he just looks like a super mediocre quarterback.
Well, that's what he's been though. He's always kind of been a backup and to fill in. He's kind of a bridge right now, I think. And I will say this: with New England's defense playing strong, they do have a solid young core on their offense.
Yeah.
I do think I don't think it'll be this year, but I could see next year they're going to be breaking out. I definitely I like what they did at running back. I think Gibson's got a resurgence here. With Stevenson, I think they got a really good duo there in Stevenson and Gibson. And I do think that they do have a really young, solid core of receivers. Hunter Henry is jumping out here at tight end. So I like what they're doing on offense, and the other thing is they've been really competitive. So who knows? Who knows? They could surprise everybody. But I agree with you. These next two games are going to be tough games on the road against the Jets in San Francisco, and then they come home against Miami and Houston. So I think we'll see what kind of team they are after these next two games. I mean, they do have a shot. I'm not going to discredit them. They could beat the Jets this week. I don't think it's going to happen, but they could. And San Francisco's really vulnerable right now, as well. So we could see a surprise out of here, out of them in the next two games. I don't know that it will happen, but who knows?
The one thing I will say is if you don't start to get that passing game going, you're going to struggle if Stevenson gets hurt.
Yeah, but they're doing the right thing. They got Henry involved, right? So he had a monster game last week. So if they keep feeding him the ball, I think that's going to open it up for the receivers because they're going to have to. Their defense is going to have to start collapsing on Henry, and so I think that that'll open it up for the receivers and get them in there. But they do need they need at least one of those guys to step up and show that they can be the guy, and come out there and show some consistency. I thought maybe it would have been Osborne, but Osborne to me again has just been a disappointment. If right now, I think it has to be Douglas. I think Douglas is the guy that has to kind of step up right now. He started showing spurts last year. He needs to be consistent, step up, get some separation, help out Brissett, and take advantage of his opportunities and stuff out there. So it'll be interesting. This is going to be an interesting game. I don't think it's going to be one of those over exciting games. I think it's going to be one of those field position games, a lot of punting, defensive battles. So I'm not expecting it to be overly exciting.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
So, but this division is going to be interesting this year, because I'll be the first to admit I didn't think the Patriots were going to come out and play like they did this year, and and now the Dolphins have lost Tua, and he's going to be out for at least 4 games because they put him on IR. And the Patriots are playing a lot better than expected. The Jets are starting to find their way. The Bills, obviously, right now are the top team in the division, I think, which is surprising because I didn't think the Bills were going to be the top team at this point. But I think this is going to be this division's up for anybody. I think. I'm still not sold on the Bills. If the Bills go in this week and they beat up on Jacksonville and stuff, I'll be a little bit more sold. But I think that this division's up for grabs. I think any of these teams have an opportunity right now. I mean, what do you think, Wiggs, about the division and with these two teams and the other two?
It's surprising seeing Buffalo win both their games and the Patriots being in both their games. I thought that. Well, I thought the Jets would be sitting there at 2-0. I did not expect them to lose week 1, in my opinion. I didn't think they were going to lose to the 49ers. And I thought the Dolphins would probably be in that 2-0 range as well right now, but it's interesting right now.
Yeah, I just read a tweet, today from Tony Dungy, and I think he hit it on the head. He was talking about how September seems to be a slow month because the regulars aren't playing in preseason, and I think he hit it right on the head. I get it. You don't want to, these guys don't want to play these guys in preseason because they're afraid of injuries. But also, I think you have to, you have to play them. So, anything else, Wiggs? Well, with that, check us out on Fantasy Fools PPR on YouTube, Snapchat, X, TikTok, Instagram, like, share, subscribe. If you got any feedback, let us know. We're always open to questions, and we hope you guys are finding this content good. And until next time, we'll talk soon.